Today we're starting a new series. We're gonna go around the island of Oahu. I don't even know what we're gonna call it. Maybe you guys can help us with a name, like Around the Island with Mila or something. But this is one of my favorite things to do with family that hasn't been here in a while or people that are visiting Oahu for the first time. Now, if you're shopping for a home and your plan is like 2 to 3 years out, I'm not gonna have the time to take you around the island. You gotta do that on your own, but you can watch this series. And today we're gonna start with my town, Hawaii Kai, and we're gonna make our way to Waimanalo. Eventually we'll go through Kailua, Kaneohe, we'll get all the way over to the North Shore, but those will come in later episodes, so let's go. Hawaii Kai is considered the most eastern point of Honolulu. It is where Honolulu actually ends, and then around the bend it becomes Waimanalo, which we'll visit in our next episode. But speaking of Hawaii Kai, it's where I live. Hawaii Kai is made up of over 16 different neighborhoods. I live in Upper Hahaione Valley. I catch such crap for the way that I say my neighborhood, but I challenge anybody to try and say it. It's hard. Like, some people say Hahaione. I think in a video I said Hahaione. I like really overpronounced it and caught cracks for it. But I think the technical way of saying it is Hahaione. The word means shifting sand or to follow the sand. This particular neighborhood is broken up into two different sections, Upper Hahaione and Lower. The upper has a price of about $1.7 million and up. You do get views of the ocean, cool breezes, mountain vistas. We're gonna explore two particular neighborhoods today. Mariners Ridge, which is on the other side of this valley here. That area is known for having a price point of about $2 million, beautiful views, bigger homes. And then we're going to explore a neighborhood called Coco Terrace, which is where a lot of activity takes place. A lot of homes come up for sale there. Most of the homes there were built in the 60s. A lot of them are single level. You know, a lot of them have been gutted and renovated and been turned into some pretty cool masterpieces. So we're gonna look at one of those today. I'm also helping buyers right now in the Coco Kai Triangle area. We have another video living in Hawaii Kai, and we explored that neighborhood previously. We also did a video on Portlock. So Portlock, Coco Kai Triangle, that's kind of like a region all on its own. The lines kind of get muddied between the different neighborhoods, but we'll just take a quick drive through there as well. Should we answer some questions?
Sure.
Okay.
So, what is the stigma of, ooh, you live in Hawaii Kai?
Oh, that's a good question. Hawaii Kai was always kind of known as this hoity-toity area. I know when I was growing up here, any of my friends that lived in Hawaii Kai, I had some family that lived out here, and we regarded this as like the uppity neighborhood. Now that I live here, I feel like it's really not as uppity as the perception is, but you know, you've got this. It is a lifestyle neighborhood, so a lot of people who live here do so because they have boats, because you've got the marina, and you do have Maunalua Bay, which isn't a beach per se. Like, you're not gonna go there and like lay out and swim. I mean, some people do, but it's really not that type of beach. It's more of a bay. Houses out here are bigger and newer than what you would see in most Honolulu neighborhoods. So I think that's also why there's that stigma. And then there's Portlock. I mean, Portlock has prices that average around like $5 million. And then some of them, like, back when Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous aired in the 1980s, they would feature a lot of homes there in Portlock with the incredible views of the ocean and the pools and just like the somewhat gaudy nature of the homes. So I think that's where that stigma comes from. But for the most part, Hawaii Kai is kind of like a suburb of Honolulu. We just took a little drive up to Mariners Ridge. Mariners Ridge, like I said, is about a $2 million and up neighborhood. You can sometimes get a home for like $1.8 maybe if it doesn't have an expansive view. This one does. We just helped our clients buy this house, so I thought that we'd pop in, take a quick look at it, and talk a little bit about Mariners Ridge. Like, look at this. I know, the view is sick. This is why I say I would totally want this house, because like I feel like I could do this to my house, because I live on a hillside as well. And down below, when we bought our house, actually, it was marketed as space to put a pool in. And I'm like, we could totally do something like this, but yeah, no. So the great thing about this house is that it shows you some of the key points of Hawaii Kai. Like you've got Coco Head there, which awesome hike. The hike that I love to hate. It's like 1,048 steps that practically go straight up, but people do it all the time. It's really great exercise and the views are really pretty up there. And then across here is Hanauma Bay, so that's the ridge. We hike that ridge often too. It's like a nice incline, but beyond that is Hanauma Bay. Beautiful snorkeling. Local people don't really go there. Although local people get to go there for free with a Hawaii ID. Tourists have to pay a fee to go in there, which is great because it is a nature preserve. And then down here you can see the marina. You've got the townhouses and the houses all along the marina with the boat docks. In the winter time, during December, there's the Christmas parade, which is super fun. And then Maunalua Bay down below. Mostly a boating, stand-up paddling, kayaking, canoeing community. Okay, so we're gonna head down the street now from Mariners Ridge into the Portlock, Coco Kai Triangle neighborhood. We've done Portlock before. We did a video, I think, called Living in Portlock. We've also done Living in Hawaii Kai, if I didn't mention that already. And the Living in Hawaii Kai video gives a really good overview of the entire region. But like I said, we're gonna dial down on some neighborhoods today. We don't have any houses to show in Coco Kai and Triangle, but I thought it would just make a lot of sense to drive through there, just to, talk about it a little bit more. I've been showing a couple of buyers some homes in that neighborhood. It is stunning. Incredible, like, ocean views. But again, so important to point out that Hawaii Kai is not a beach community. So we've walked on the beach of Portlock, but even that, like, it's not like a big beach. There was probably more sand at one time, but not anymore. And there's not that many houses along the Portlock area of the neighborhood. And you'll kind of see, I hope, from this video that the lines get kind of muddied between Triangle, Coco Kai, and Portlock. It's tough to figure out like where one starts and where one ends. And even more interesting is the prices are very different between those three neighborhoods, even though they're like basically the same thing. So
I feel like a lot of people think that whole area is called Portlock.
They do. They do. And the difficulty sometimes with that is that sellers a seller may have a house in Triangle and it's got all the views and it's like amazing and very similar to Coco Kai, but because it's not Coco Kai, the comps are coming in at the prices of Triangle. And so it can be a challenge figuring out the prices. What other questions did we have from Instagram while we're driving?
So if you're self-employed, what do you do if you want to buy a home? Because you don't have a pay stub, right?
Great question. By the way, we're pulling into the Triangle neighborhood now. So I'll answer that question while we're driving through here. Okay, so I was self-employed when my husband and I first got together because I was singing. I mean, I'm still self-employed as a real estate agent. And it's kind of a trick of the whole qualifying process. So as a self-employed individual, oftentimes you'll write everything off so that you can pay as little taxes as possible, right? And it's legit, like it is legitimate that you can write off equipment. Sometimes you can write off meals, travel, etc. And so I did that a lot as a singer. I would write everything off and then, it would almost look like I made like no money. Well, when it came time for us to qualify for a home, that was not good because it was like, oh, well, you only make this much money. So if you know that you're gonna buy a house in the next like 2 or 3 years, you actually want to show as much income as possible as opposed to like just writing everything off. And I'm not saying like, you're not lying, you're not being fraudulent, but you do want to be more mindful of your goal. Like, I'm going to buy a house, and so therefore, things that maybe aren't necessarily needing to be written off, let's just pay the taxes on it. Let's show the income so that you can qualify for that mortgage.
Is it more important that you can show that you have a consistent amount of income?
Yes.
Or have a big pool of cash?
Cash is important too, but the cash is going to play a part in your reserves. So when you qualify for a mortgage, there is a certain amount of reserves they want to see that you have in savings. But also you can use your cash as a down payment and then take out a smaller mortgage, you know, so.
But either way, you need to prove that cash flows.
You do. So everything has to be documented. Any large amounts of cash sitting in a bank account, the bank is going to want to know, like, where did that come from? I mean, if it's been there for a long time and it's been growing over time, it's pretty obvious. They'll look at your bank statements to see the history of it. But if like a great big windfall of money comes into a bank account within the last like few months, or, you know, they're going to ask, like, where did this come from? Make sure that you weren't selling drugs. Okay, like I said, the lines get really muddy when it comes to like what's triangle and what's Coco Kai, but I can just tell by like the homes here, like there's a lot of wood shake roofs. You've got a lot of like beautiful rock walls, beautiful landscaping. This is Coco Kai. Coco Kai is, all the streets in this region are named after Kauai. So you have Hanapepe, you have Poipu. Poipu is like the main road that comes through this entire region. Did I say Hanapepe?
Yes.
You've got Lumahai. So Lumahai, Moloa'a, Poipu, Hanapepe, those streets are synonymous with Coco Kai. Portlock, the main street through there is Poipu. And then Triangle is going to be Makaweli. Oh my gosh, I'm like losing it on my streets. My husband's from Kauai and I lived there. I should know all of these things. But anyway, Hanapepe, I believe, is the street to China Walls.
Yes.
China Walls can get quite, it can bring a lot of people in during sunset. Like all the kids come and like you can't see it from the street, but you can kind of, like this whole street will get filled up with cars. Well, actually there's towaway zone signs here now, so not really, but this is the entrance into China Walls, Coco Kai Mini Beach Park. And so you walk down there and you've got footage of that.
Yeah.
People jump off.
Careful.
It's pretty dangerous. People fall off. Some of the residents of this neighborhood will get a little frustrated just with the amount of cars that speed in here at the end of the day. But I mean, for the most part, people are just coming in to see the sunset, light a joint, and then they leave.
Yeah.
So once the sun goes down, they're all out of here. So that is a daily occurrence. So that's one of the things to consider if this is a neighborhood that you're wanting to live in, is like understanding which streets get filled up with the cars and which ones don't. But you know, this is like the premier neighborhood, this section, and you know, there's always landscapers here in the middle of the day and pool people and, you know, yeah. So Coco Kai, and then it like very seamlessly turns into Triangle. Triangle, you're not going to have, like, not every house is going to have an incredible view. Homes were also built in the 60s. A lot of them are still original, but the handful of the ones that have been transformed, their prices will be like $3 million and up. The ones that haven't had any renovations done are probably going to be closer to 1.7, 1.8, or touching $2 million. Above average is going to be like 2.3 million. Lot sizes here are like 10,000. You can only build one house on that lot. So it's not congested. Like, you'll notice there's not a lot of cars parked all over the streets here. And then you get views here without having to drive up a windy road. So this isn't about Hawaii Kai, but what would you tell a recent college graduate about home buying? My husband, Kelihi, right out of college, he was renting a room here in Hawaii Kai, and he was paying like $300 just for a bedroom in like a family home. And these townhouses were coming up at that time. So that was in like 2003. And I remember these were listed at like $300,000 and $400,000. And I used to tell him, like, you should really look at buying. And I was in no position to buy, okay? I didn't even graduate from college. So I was singing and, you know, I was a gig worker. I wasn't in a position to buy a home. We were only dating, but I remember like, how come you're not looking at buying? And he's like, why would I buy? Like, I'm only paying $300 a night. I mean, $300 a month for this room. Unheard of, right? Like, it's crazy for me to say $300 a month. He could have afforded those, but to him that was outrageous. $300,000 and $400,000 for a townhouse. I mean, that's still a little bit outrageous today, depending on where you live now. But in Hawaii, that's like a steal. Fast forward 20 years later, those are like $900,000. The 3 bedrooms go for 1.1 million. So in 20 years, that more than doubled. So what would I tell a recent college graduate? Like, hindsight is 20/20. If he had bought back then, right out of college, he had a great job, you know, he was in management. Gosh, like I think about how far ahead he could possibly be at this time. But at the same time, $300 a month was a steal back then too. And he was able to actually save a lot of money by paying that little of rent. So I would say to a recent college graduate, you know, it's really your choice. Like, are you going to live it up and travel and, you know, totally up to you if that's what you're going to do. I think the smartest college graduates are going to rent for a little while and save as much money as they can and prepare themselves for home ownership, even if it means like not renting the super swanky cool bachelor pad, renting a room in a house. Or if you can't afford to stretch and buy a place, like, go for it, because I look at those down the street and I'm just like, that's sick. Now we're on our way to Coco Head Terrace. We're going to look at a house there. Coco Head Terrace is in a neighborhood that has a lot of activity. This is where the houses are older, built in the 60s, and a lot of them are in original condition, although you'll find some that have been fully renovated, and those are real gems. The interesting thing about this neighborhood is it's one of the more affordable neighborhoods in this region. Prices are around 1.4 million for something that's in like excellent above average condition, 1.5 million actually. And then sometimes you can find a super fixer-upper for right under $1 million. These are pretty simple houses, but it's only 5 minutes away from Koko Kai Triangle Portlock. So you've got one of the most expensive neighborhoods, not very far away from one of the more affordable neighborhoods. So see how different though? Like, you got like original, new.
Oh, wow. Oh, this house is super cool.
Isn't it cool? We're at 532 Kekupua Street. This house is currently listed for sale right under 1.5 million. It's a fixer-upper. It's amazing. Even Yasu just said, oh, this looks like a Koa house, because Koa does this type of thing. Ooh. Smells good. Smells nice and new. Yeah, like nobody's ever lived here, even though they did, but not in these finishes yet. Oh, this is cool. Okay, please open. Why? Oh my gosh.
Another room?
It's like a secret room. Oh, it's the laundry room. You could almost make this like you could almost make this like a studio, a place that somebody could sleep if you really wanted to. But I mean, I think a bigger laundry area is pretty cool. Yeah. My cousin owns a house in Wailua and they have a space like this, and they actually have a bed and they rent it out. Okay, so this house is listed at $1.499999. The Coco Head Terrace neighborhood average price is around $1.35, but that's gonna be for a lot of the more original homes that have been cared for over the years, but more above average. This is excellent condition, never been lived in since it's been renovated. And this is typically what you'll see in this neighborhood, like this type of layout, just a very simple home. And investors love these homes because they're just so easy to come in and redo the way that this buyer did. I mean, whoever buys this is gonna be really lucky. And I think that's the other kind of conundrum with buying homes in this neighborhood, because it's like, okay, do I want to spend like 1.3 million on a home that still needs a little bit of work, or am I going to step up to 1.5 million to a brand new turnkey amazing house? You know, that's the consideration. Of course, affordability is the consideration as well. Look at this huge shower with all those knobs. I love a water closet, okay? I really, really want a water closet. My husband and I need this because he spends a lot of time in there. Okay, the thing about Hawaii Kai and like this neighborhood, it really lends itself to entertaining. So a lot of people take a lot of pride in their backyards and being able to spend time out here gathering. And so this little space is so cool. It really lends itself to that. You've got your wine fridge and your sink and just a nice area to sit outside and enjoy the elements. Even having this concrete slab all the way around, it helps keeping water away from the house, and it's actually a really good upgrade. Coco Head Terrace has a list to sales price ratio of 100%. Homes here usually go under contract in about 3 weeks or less. The homes here are really in what we call the sweet spot. So the pricing being like 1.35 million for average, above average, up to 1.5 million for excellent condition homes. These are homes that are great for like first-time house buyers, not first-time home buyers. These are the ones, you know, people are upgrading from a condo into a house, or people are downsizing because, again, a lot of the houses here are single level. Looking around here, it reminds me a lot of Coconut Grove in Kailua, because you've got older houses that are in original condition next to houses that are far more upgraded like you see here. I see a couple of houses just across the street that are under construction. You've got a roll off over here signaling that there's other houses that are potentially being gutted, maybe gonna be put back on the market and flipped. Yeah, but overall, just a really great neighborhood, again, for that first time house buyer. In addition, you get these surprises in Hawaii Kai. That's one of the things I like about it. Like, this is the more elevated area of Coco Head Terrace, but if you look down, I don't know if you can see it right now, but like there's Peekaboo Ocean to my left. When we're standing up in the driveway of the home, you can see Diamond Head Crater. You've got mountains here behind us. You've got Coco Head. There's a little trail that leads over the drainage ditch there right into Coco Head Park. So you do get a lot of variety in Hawaii Kai as well. Okay, we're gonna make our way out of Hawaii Kai, but we had another question on Instagram, and it was, what is there to eat in Hawaii Kai? So that's a great question, and it's a great segue into like some of the top reasons why people like living in Hawaii Kai. Food is not one of them. We don't have a whole lot to eat out here, unfortunately. There is the original Roy's, and my husband and I love to go there for happy hour, and it's super friendly. We've gotten to know the staff there. Roy's really never disappoints. There's Miley's Thai, one of the best, most well-known Thai restaurants on the island. She's like an institution here. We used to have Lico's. Lico's was so cool. It was in my other videos. They closed. So disappointing. We do have Costco out here. I've said that before. Costco's great. You know, Costco hot dog.
No gas.
No Costco gas. That's a big fat bummer. But other than that, Hawaii Kai closes pretty early. Like, the people who live out here are and the reasons people live out here. So number one, I would say just it's Honolulu, and it is like a suburb in Honolulu. Lifestyle wise, you've got ocean, marina, boating, hiking. The weather's really beautiful. Let's see, what else? Schools. The schools out here are known to be really great. The elementary schools in particular. And it is like pretty safe and, you know, away from Metro Honolulu. So you're not gonna have like a lot of riffraff. There's not really homeless out here. I mean, like, we've got one that will show up every now and then by the 7-Eleven or by the bus stop. And usually they're there for a little while, and then they just realize like this isn't a place where they have a big community of homeless. So we don't see homeless in this neighborhood. I don't mean boring in a negative way. It's very just like peaceful out here. It's Traffic is pretty minor. Like, I'll say that it's 30 minutes into Honolulu. It is a solid 30 minutes, okay? So that means like you can get to where you need to go in 30 minutes, but you still gotta find parking. So I recommend leaving 35 to 40 minutes before you need to go anywhere. If you're driving there in the morning during traffic, give it a solid hour, because actually it'll take like 45 minutes to get to downtown. Like, I had to go to a hearing the other day for a court confirmation for one of my listings, and it started at 9. I left my house at 8:15, and I was barely getting there just because I still had to park and walk to the building and find the courtroom. So I really should have left at 8. But yeah, everything's just pretty mellow out here. So when I say boring, not quite the right word. Mellow is a good word. But back to food. We're gonna go grab some lunch before we head over to Waimanalo. And we're gonna go to Heavenly today. That's a new restaurant. I just turned the wrong way. I gotta turn back around. Thank God I can make a U-turn up here. Heavenly is a restaurant that's on the water. It's like Japanese, it's Japanese owned. Yasu, you've been there. I haven't been there.
Yeah, it's Japanese owned. I'm not too sure what their style of food is.
Yeah.
It's like very fusion.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Okay.
There's one more in Waikiki.
Very cool. So cute. Thank you. This restaurant is so cute. Like, everything's like very like, there's all these little nooks and everything's presented so beautifully. It's owned by a Japanese owner. They've got a couple of other restaurants. There's one in Waikiki. This is called Heavenly Island Lifestyle. So cute in Japanese. Great. I really liked that little spot. I'm glad we went there. I'm going to put that on my list and take back what I said, that we don't have anything to eat in Hawaii Kai. I mean, we still could do better, but they're a nice addition. I think they just opened this year, and it's just, waterfront dining is always a great thing. We're going to head over to Waimanalo. That's where our next episode is going to take place. But along the way, I just feel like this is one of the most beautiful scenic drives on the island. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I love taking family members around the island and just doing it myself. When people come into town, it's just a great opportunity to take a good drive. Usually if you're just gonna spin around the island, it's gonna take like, maybe 3 to 4 hours if you're stopping along the way. You know, this series is going to be us stopping in different towns and, of course, talking real estate and just really trying to get into the communities so that we can give a good, real sense of what it's like. We're coming up the hill here by Hanauma Bay, and I was saying earlier that this ridge here is a place that my husband and I like to walk. Hanauma Bay is a truly special place. It's very, very touristy. Local people hardly ever go there, but the fish are like really tame there because, you know, they know that people are coming in with fish food. And so they're like puppies. We would love for you all to let us know what you want to see, or what questions do you have about different areas of the island. You know, anything. Like, I mean, we're real estate agents, so that of course is going to be like our specialty. But if you have other things that you'd like to know, things you'd like to see, neighborhoods you'd like for us to go in, please leave us a comment and let us know. As we make our way to Waimanalo, oh my gosh, this coastline is breathtaking, and it's only like 2 lanes, so you have to be careful to keep your eyes on the road. But what do you want to know about Waimanalo? Like, it is a very distinct area in between Hawaii Kai and Kailua. Hawaiian homestead is predominant there, so is there anything you want to know about that?
What's your favorite place to eat in Waimanalo?
Oh yeah! I think there's only like 2 places.
There's a little bit more.
Okay.
But I do want to personally go to these local eateries as we move north.
No, me
Waimanalo.
too.
So I want to hear everybody's, recommendations of where you like to go. And then,
I mean, I like eating, so give me a reason to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. By the way, this is Yasu, everybody.
Hi.
Yasu's gonna...
I'll be talking more now.
He's gonna chat more. The ocean is so blue along this way. Oftentimes, if it's super clear, you'll see Maui, you'll see Molokai, you'll see Lanai. In the wintertime, you'll see whales. Sandy Beach, we've had this in our video before. Sandy Beach it's a nice beach to come to watch people boogie board, but
Slammed into the sand.
I ain't getting in the water there, no way. I think I have before, like on a really small, calm day. You have to have fins. And again, that's the thing about Hawaii Kai, like there's not a beach, but you can go to that beach. That's usually where Hawaii Kai people will go if they're just looking to hang out on the sand and listen to the waves and be by the ocean. But you're not gonna go out there and swim laps, that's for sure. Well, we're all pow for now with our first episode of this Circle Island Tour. I don't even know what we're calling it. Like I said, leave us a comment if you have a good name for this series. Next up is Waimanalo, which is right behind me. And please leave us a comment. Let us know what questions you have about this neighborhood or about any other neighborhoods here on the island so that we can prepare a video that is really most informative for you. Thank you again so much for coming along with us. We'll see you next time in Waimanalo.